in the state of New Hampshire. Not only did I win it, but there are great people up there. And you go up to New Hampshire and you see the people, and their biggest problem, the first thing they always tell me about is they have a tremendous heroin problem, tremendous. And it doesn't seem right because, you know, the beautiful trees and the beautiful, I mean, everything's beautiful. It's like a beautiful place. And it doesn't seem right. It's pouring through the southern border. We're going to stop drugs for New Hampshire. And I made them a promise. I said, we're going to get this stuff ended. We're going to end it. So I went out and we brought this up and we said, we're going to have strong borders. We're going to have the wall. Mexico's going to pay for the wall 100%. By the way, 100%. You know, these politicians, you know, the other day, I heard two of them. I never heard it before. I heard little Marco, he's up here, and he said, and my wife said to me, I've never heard that before, and honestly I hadn't. But little Marco Rubio said, we are going to build a wall. It's the first time I said, what happened? He's going to build a wall. Because I thought that we couldn't build it according to these guys. And I heard the same thing from Ted Cruz, they're going to build a wall. Sheriff Joe Arpaio, who's terrific, by the way, he's endorsed me, and let me tell you, Joe Arpaio from Arizona knows about borders. Do we agree? And he endorsed them. So what happened is I gave the speech, and then people sort of were very critical. Rush Limbaugh actually said, I have never seen anybody take more incoming, take a beating from the press. It was brutal for a couple of weeks. Then people started to realize I'm right. And between the crime and the drugs and the economic development that's lost, and by the way, we're going to have people come in, they're coming in legally, we know that, but we have to strengthen up our borders. So I talked about borders, I talked about trade on June 16th. And then it morphed into something much different, because you had the attack in Paris, you had the attack in Los Angeles, you had many other attacks, and all of a sudden people started looking to me for protection and safety, because trust me, I will be so good, I will be so tough, I will be so strong. We are going to protect our country, militarily and at the borders. We're going to protect our country. So I went from trade. Now trade's a big thing, because you cannot lose $500 billion a year with China, which is what we lost last year. $500 billion with China. And then I hear these very not smart people. I'm trying to be nice. They say, Donald Trump is not a free trader. I'm a free trader. But folks, I'm a free trader. We got to do something. We got to get something out of it, right? I'm a free trader. When we lose $500 billion a year, guess what? I guess I'm not a free trader, because it's not going to work that way. I know China very well. I have great friends in China. They pay me tens of millions of dollars for apartments in Manhattan. The largest bank in the world from China is a tenant of mine in one of my buildings, okay? I know more about China than I have the Bank of America building in San Francisco because of China. And I got it in a very hostile fashion. You would be very proud of me, actually, if you want to know that. But let me tell you, and China's fine. And by the way, Mexico, I didn't like that leader. I didn't like his filthy language. You want to know the truth? I didn't like his attitude, because he thought that, you know, we're supposed to give him everything. Those days are over, folks. But let me just tell you, Mexico is great. And the people are great. I have thousands and thousands of Hispanics working for me and have worked for me over the years. They're great. They're great spirit. They're great people. The problem we have is the leaders of Mexico, the leaders of China, the leaders of Japan, all of the leaders all over the world are smarter, tougher, more cunning than our leaders. Our leaders are stupid people, folks. They're stupid people. And we can't afford it anymore. We have 19 trillion, we can't afford it anymore. We are going to change that so fast. So for the first part, I talked about borders and I talked about trade. And I love talking about trade, believe me. And I say it all the time. I will be the greatest jobs-producing president that God ever created. That I can tell you. The greatest. So I talked about trade, and just so you know, it's not free trade with China. China sends their stuff in here, no tax. We send stuff over there. I have many friends in the manufacturing business. They can't get it into China, and if they do, they pay a massive tariff or tax. Believe me, it's a one-sided deal, and our people don't want to talk about it. But we're going to start talking about it, because we're not going to lose that kind of money. You can't. If we're going to remain a country, we have rebuilt China. That is the greatest theft in the history of the world, what China has done to the United States, okay? In fact, the other day, the big banks from China renewed their lease. I said, I can't believe it. You're really renewing it? Yeah, they love the building. It's a great building, what can I tell you? They renewed their lease. I was a little surprised with the way I talk about China, but I talk about it with respect. I wish our leaders were doing to them what they're doing to us. I'd be so happy with our leaders. I wouldn't even be doing this. So we're going to straighten out trade. Let me tell you, I know you've seen the story about a week ago. Carrier air conditioners. I buy Carrier, the good company. Now I'm going to a different brand, probably Trane. But I buy a lot of Carriers. I buy everything. But I buy a lot of stuff. And I'll tell you, it's all moving. It's moving to Mexico now. It's moving, you know, Pfizer is moving to Ireland. Pfizer. It's a massive company, the big pharmaceutical company. We got to stop it, folks. So here's what happens. They announced, you know, Ford is building a $2.5 billion plant in Mexico, just in case. Nobody did anything, and now they're doubling down. I've been talking about that for 2 years. And now the other day in the newspaper, I said, Ford now is going to double up. They're going to build much more. And the reason is nobody talks to them, and nobody tells them there are going to be repercussions if you do this. So I went to the Wharton School of Finance. You all went to good schools, colleges, or no schools. It doesn't make any difference. Anybody knows if you take Carrier, when they say, and it was terrible, 1,400 people out of a job. When you take Carrier, right, and you say, you're out of a job, we're moving to Mexico, and you had to see the people, they were devastated. They worked there for years, great people, they worked there for years. They're going to move right into Mexico. What the hell good does that do? They're going to make air conditioners. They're going to sell them, many of them, into the United States. No tax, no nothing. So we lose the jobs, we lose the buildings, we lose real estate taxes, we lose all sorts of taxes. We get nothing. And then not only that, Carrier is going to sell air conditioners, so they're going to be competing with companies that we have, like Trane and others that sell air conditioners that ideally make them in the United States. Of course, there aren't too many of those companies left, because I can say the same thing for South Korea. You want to buy a television? I buy thousands of television sets a year. You want to buy a television set? You got to go to South Korea, unless you want to go to Sony, and Sony's a little bit less its way, but we won't say that, okay? But you go LG and you go Samsung, you have to go. So here's the story. If I'm president, what I do is the following. And you know, it's not very presidential. I know when. Everyone always says that. When. But I don't want to say that because they'll say I'm egotistical. Okay, so. But, well, look, hey, the big thing is you got to go out on Tuesday. You got to vote, folks. You got to vote. You got to vote. You got to vote. You gotta vote or the movement ends. Our movement, look at that, look at that. Oh, I love that. Look at that amount of people. Boy, I wish you could have gotten a better location. Look at that. I wish the cameras would just focus once on that area. It's so unbelievable. It's so crazy. And I wish they'd focus on that area where we have 4,000 people standing. That they won't let in. That's so sad. I don't know. I would have let them in. I mean, why is there a fire hazard when you're standing outside? Why? In all fairness, I'm sure I'd like the fire. I have this problem, you know? I work very hard. My best friends have become fire marshals because every time I go to a place, we need the help of the fire marshals. But usually it's on the inside of a building. And even there, I say, do me a favor, let the people come in because they have to go. You got thousands of people standing out there. How the hell can you have a problem? We're outside. There's no building. We're outside. Let them in, Mr. Fire Marshal, whoever the hell you are. Let them come in. Let them come in. Come on. I don't get it. I don't get it. You know, we have to be. See, that's right. We need common sense in the world, right? We need common sense. You know, if we're on the inside of a building, I say, okay, could you let some in at least? Because we send away thousands of people. I hate it. I hate it. I've gone back to areas just to take care of the people that we sent in. But when you're in a building like, when you're in a thing like this, it's ridiculous. Okay, so here's what we do. It's not very presidential, right? I shouldn't be calling up Carrie. I'm the president of the United States. Now, if one of these other guys heard about it, like Rubio or like Cruz, number one, they don't care, you're right. Number two, they're taken care of, and a lobbyist will see them and say, you can't do that. The lobbyist represents, and he's this, and they gave you money. Okay, so nothing's going to happen. But me, I'm not asking. I have turned down so much money. I feel so damn foolish. I tell people, my whole life is about money accumulation. I tell people, I'm sort of greedy. It's like money. That's what I do, money. I get. Now, I tell people, I have a friend who's a great guy from Las Vegas, a very, very powerful guy, very big guy, Phil Ruffin, very rich guy. He wants to give me $10 million. Another one wants to give me $5 million. I have guys who want to give me 20. They'll give me anything I want. I would have the greatest fund ever assembled by mankind, okay? And I keep saying no. And Phil comes over and says, Donald, sees me a month later, when can I give it? No, I don't want it. And I sort of feel foolish. I've never done that before. I feel like, what am I doing? I keep turning down. And I don't even know if people appreciate it. I'm not sure that they appreciate it. I don't know. I have a man who's a member of the Mar-a-Lago Club. I like you too. I actually love you. I love everybody here. I tell you. We have, every poll says that Donald Trump has by far the most loyal people. That, I shouldn't say this, but they say, I can do anything and they still love me. And you know what? You can do anything and I'm still going to love you too, believe me. Believe me. So I have a member of the Mar-a-Lago Club, very, very rich guy, tremendously rich guy. He's in the credit card business and he's fantastic. And he sees me, Don, I'd like to give you as much money as you'd want for the campaign. Don't forget, I've been #1 since I started, right? Since June. I mean, we started off at 5%, 7%. Every time we go 5%, and these guys would say, well, he's reached his cap. Then the next week it goes to 12%. And these people back there, this moron, Karl Rove, he's a total moron. You listen to guys like Karl Rove, you are never going to win another presidential election, I will tell you that. But Karl Rove, I mean, he is the worst. Anytime I see him, I say, turn off the set. He still thinks Romney won the election, you know that? He's going around, Romney won the election, he won the election. You listen to these people, you're never going to win again, folks, I'm telling you. So then I go to 12%. And they say, oh, he's reaching out. Then I go to 20%. Then I went to 24, 25%. Then I went to, and every time. Now today, Reuters has me at 44% national. 44. And don't forget, that's with 5 people. And actually more than that probably, because they probably have a couple of others before that, who knows. But that's with other people. So 44. So now they don't say that anymore, because you know what? I'll take 44 all day long with 5 people, right? But then I listen to Rove and he'll say, and in particular him, but others too, they'll say, well, you know what they're going to do? They're going to gang up on Trump. The only way you're going to beat him, I feel so strong, I feel so great, because they say, he's unbeatable one-on-one. And you can't beat him in the debates. You have to gang up like these 2 morons. They ganged up. Did you see them? They're shaking hands. They're waving to each other. I'm standing in the middle. And by the way, every single online poll said I won that debate. Every single one. But did you see them? Did you see them behind me? They're shaking hands. They're high-fiving behind. What a bunch. Hey, folks, can I be honest? We just want to make our country so great. I mean, what's the big deal? We want security, we want good health care, we want to get rid of Common Core, we want to strengthen our Second Amendment, we want to have our Second Amendment, they want to decimate our Second Amendment, it's not going to happen. There are certain things, we want to have a good life, we want to have a wonderful family, we want to have a great job. I mean, what's the big, we want to take care of ourselves. And you know, this whole thing with the viciousness and the stupidity and the craziness, we want to do it right. But, so Karl Rove said, well, he has 45. I had just won Nevada. And it was a big victory. I won by so much. And we had just won also, you know, shortly before that, we won South Carolina big. And that was supposed to be, don't forget, that was supposed to be Ted Cruz's stronghold. High evangelical population. I love the evangelicals. They are so good. I'm leading with evangelicals everywhere.